So the other day, I think it was Monday, I came on the air and I talked about men and what they saw with Trump on Saturday, right? With the blood and the fist and all of that stuff. And I talked to men and I said, this is what men saw, men all around the world. As a matter of fact, talking about men and boys, because there's a group of boys in Uganda, that recreated the whole Trump assassination attempt. They weren't laughing about this. They were recreating it because they understand fundamentally as boys how tough it is, how tough guy that was, right? So I talked about that on Monday. So today I'm doing show prep, and I got a whole bunch of stories. I'm going to midnight. So, I'm prepared. And then the news comes down, and I'll get to that. But let me set this up for you. When I was in kindergarten, I went to a school called Scroll School. It was a brownstone. A woman ran it out of a brownstone in Harlem. It was a private school, but it was pre-K and kindergarten and first grade. It started, I think, as first grade, and then I went to another school after like first or second grade. But I was at Scroll School, and it was private. You know what I mean? You had to pay. Our parents had to pay for us to go there. It was probably about 30, 40 kids, and it was a brownstone in New York. I think it was on 153rd or 54th Street, and she had a little backyard. And in this little backyard, there was a big wheel. I don't know if you guys remember the big wheels. That there was like a tricycle. It was sat low to the ground, plastic, had a big wheel in the front, two little wheels in the back, and you pedaled it real fast. And it was like a toy, a bicycle. But she only had one. And so when recess came, you had to run outside to get to the big wheel. And you couldn't commandeer it and drive it and play with it the whole time, but there was always a race to get to the big wheel. So I remember this one. It's seared in my memory. I remember the way the backyard at this brownstone at Scroll School was designed it was a square. Like there was grass in the middle, and she had a square path around the grass in the middle. And so you'd go up one side, turn the corner, but then it sloped coming down. It sloped going up. It was a slight slope. So if you got enough speed going up, turn the corner at the top and race to the other side, and it came down the slope. You could be going very fast by the time you came down the third of the four lines, because it's a square. And then you skid at the bottom, and when you stopped in a big wheel, the back spun out. That was the coolest part of a big wheel, if you guys remember this. Well, I remember this one particular time I was doing that, and I went to skid, and I fell off. I skinned myself. I fell off. I tumbled, and all the girls were looking. And this is when you're young. You're a boy. But there's something in you that says that I'm doing this for the girls. I'm doing it for the other guys. I'm trying to go as fast as them, but I'm doing it for the girls. And when I fell and I skinned my leg, I jumped up and acted like nothing happened. I just jumped up. Somebody else took the big wheel and they went to play. And I'll never forget that because the girls didn't laugh because I jumped up. And a couple of girls go, you okay, Shelly? You okay? Yeah, I remember this. You all right? Well, I tell that story because had I laid there crying, I would have been laughed at. Had I laid there crying, the girls wouldn't have checked if I was okay. They would have seen me, even at that young age, oh, he's weak. Because I stood up after being skinned, after falling off the big wheel. Because I stood up, the girls, even at that young age, understood, oh, Shelly's tough. They don't really know what it means, but inside their DNA, they saw toughness. I tell this story because today, on Saturday, as many of you know, my guy, Donald John Trump, former president of the United States, running again for 2024, was giving a speech on a stage. A high-caliber bullet whizzed by his ear, clipped his ear. He dropped to the ground. 3-4 Secret Service, big burly linebacker types jumped on him, covered him, and as they gave the all clear, shoot her down, they picked Donald Trump up, and he had blood running down the side of his face. But he stood there defiantly, as I talked about, as we all have seen the videos, and if you've seen this Uganda TikTok video of kids recreating this, it's how powerful this scene is. And Donald Trump puts his fist up in the air and he's chanting, fight, fight, fight. And the crowd goes crazy. USA, US. It's just a mad scene of just utter power and defiance and strength, exemplified in all of about a minute and a half. And that was Saturday. All weekend long, the other guy is trying to convince us that he's just as strong. Look at me, I can talk to a crowd. Look at me, I can give a speech. Look at me, I can read from the teleprompter. Look at me, I'm strong, I can do this job. Stop running me off. And then today, he's supposed to give a speech, I believe, in Nevada. He has mild symptoms of COVID. Mild symptoms of COVID. Does he tough it out? Does he tell everybody, hey, just keep a distance, but I'm going to tough this out because it's only mild symptoms of COVID? He's been boosted 5 times, count them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times boosted. But that guy has to take a day off because he has mild symptoms of COVID. So I want you tonight, all of you, go home. All you guys, when you get home, just pull your woman to the side. Whether it's your fiance, your wife, your girlfriend, your side chick, pull her to the side and say, hey, baby, if I got bloodied and I stood there and kept trying to fight defiantly, but my ear and my face was bloodied, or if another guy that was seeking your attentions, he got mild symptoms of COVID and had to cancel the date, who would you pick, baby? I guarantee you, my friends, I guarantee you, as sure as I'm sitting here at 95.5 WSB Atlanta's News and Talk, I guarantee you, 1,000%, 100%, nary a woman would pick the guy who had to cancel the date with the mild symptoms of COVID. Every single woman would take, I will go out with the guy whose bloodied face and he still wants to hang. He still wants to fight. That's the tough guy. That's the guy who can protect me. That's the guy who can provide for me. That's the guy that can give me strong, brilliant kids. The other guy? The other guy. Yes, sir. The race is over, my friends. It's a wrap. It's over. Strength always wins. So, Shelley.